I had posted a tweet on my Twitter page a couple days ago, or actually last week, and I actually talked about it briefly in my live stream on my Rain in Real Time channel. And it was a tweet that I made in reference to Jussie Smollett and how you had PC had black privilege trending. Keep in mind, I already knew where they were heading with it because it came right after his release. And I decided to put it on my page, and I forgot what I had said, but I got a lot of responses. But I'm not here to talk about Jussie. I'm here to talk about this guy right here, whose name is Jason Mumpower, and he's the Tennessee, comptroller. And he pulled some throwback racism out of his ass with the most recent stunt that he just did. Now, the people who told me about it, they were basically saying that the Tennessee state government gave an ultimatum to predominantly black towns in Tennessee. And by the way, shout out to Hugh Jackson, that's the person who sent it to me. Said they gave an ultimatum to a predominantly black town in Tennessee, asked them to dissolve their town charter or else they'll seize their finances, and said somehow that topic never made it to the trending list. Instead, Jussie got their bigger attention. To which I replied back with, I never heard about that either, but I'm not surprised. And then I had someone else send me a link to the story itself. And this right here is actually a video. This is not tied to the link that was sent to me, because the link that was sent to me is actually to an article, a write-up about this. But this is a video in which Jason Mumpower is being asked and questioned about what he plans on doing. This is nothing more than, I call it Jim Crow 2.5. At this point, we're past 2.0. We are aiming for 3 at this point. And he's basically doing the whole rezoning thing that Dub S has been known to do when it comes to black people for such a long time, which is why a lot of black people were never able to advance. And see, that's the thing that they don't like to talk about. And this is what they're doing right here. As a matter of fact, I was reading some of the comments and somebody was breaking it down, but in layman terms, without going and reading everything that this person said, they were saying how this area that was pretty much overran by white people at one point in time, they pretty much mismanaged all type of funds for so long that the town was pretty much in debt. Like, they literally ran it into the ground. Think of that town in Kentucky who I'm always talking about that I can't, no, not, yeah, Owsley County. There it is. Think of Owsley County. It kind of was like that. But then when black people came in and they started to get the finances in order and get control of it, then here comes this guy, and then he's trying to take away what black people have already done and redirect it back to the same type of people that ran this town into the ground. Like, it's the craziest paradigm, because they really don't want black people having or owning or have ownership of real funds and finances. That's why they keep fighting tooth and nail with this reparations thing, because they know our work ethic. This shows right here that black people have some very good work ethic. But they keep trying to say that we're lazy, we don't want to work, and don't want to do this, and we don't want to do that. Remember the story I did about the black farmers? And that happened in the South as well. I don't think it was Tennessee, though, but it was in the South. And then what did they do? Oh, we're going to go and run across the pond, and we're going to go to South Africa and hire some white South Africans to come and continue to work on this land that black farm owners or black farm workers have been doing. And how we're going to get them black farm workers out of there? We're going to dock their pay. We're going to make it so they really can't make an honest living. So they'll leave, and we'll come in and we'll bring in these white South Africans who didn't even have to do all of the work, and we'll give them even more money. Basically, for not doing much of anything. It's the same thing that they're practically doing with this. And this has been a practice and a tactic and a tool that Dub S has been using and doing for eons. So you want to know why black people were never really able to get to what they call the promised land? You're about to hear it right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this audio. It's about a little over 2 minutes long. So let's see what he's about to say. Oh, but before we actually play that, let's read what the text is saying. Tennessee Comptroller Jason Mumpower, a black-led city 4 miles from where the Ford plant is going to be. It says Mumpower on predominantly black Mason, Tennessee, may be losing charter as Ford moves in.
City 4 miles from where the Ford plant's it's going to be that's potentially going to lose their charter. How does that get justified, and what is the situation with the finances specifically?
Let me read this right quick because I want to make sure I catch everything. It says, this is akin to a hostile takeover. Tennessee officials ask a predominantly black town near the site of a new Ford investment to forfeit its city charter or face takeover. Now, they did not do this when the white people were there, and they did not when they were running the town into the ground and up to its eyeballs in debt and bad finances. They didn't want to come in then. They only wanted to move in after the black citizens came in and fixed what they destroyed, and now they want to take it back. So this is why when you had PC try to say that they built something, how can you actually believe that when you have modern stories such as this to back up? A lot of them really haven't built much of anything except that patent office, and a lot of stuff that's in there is a bunch of stolen inventions anyway. A lot of them created by our ancestors. Let me continue.
20 years of poor financial management in Mason. What we're trying to do is help them get on track so that they can benefit from all the development that's coming to their area.
That sounds like a lot. I'm sorry that I'm pausing it, but I want to make sure I get my stuff out because his voice annoys me, and so does his face, and everything that I'm sure he's about to say is a bunch of BS. He says so they can benefit. This is not going to benefit black people down there. This is going to hurt them. It's going to hinder. It's going to push them out. That's literally what this is. This is nothing more than them gentrifying it. That's basically what it is. After black people basically did the hard work, the hard labor, now they want to come in and reap the benefits. This is textbook Jim Crow tactics. Like I keep telling people, not far removed from their ancestors and their ancestry.
And why is this becoming a situation now?
It's been a situation for 20 years.
Right, but why are you leaning on them now?
Well, it's just become untenable, and they've never had an opportunity. The tax-paying citizens have never had an opportunity like they do now.
It's for their own good?
It's for the good of the tax-paying citizens who are getting nothing for the taxes they're paying.
What does that mean, getting nothing?
Well, they're getting no services. So when the mayor of a city can't articulate what benefit.
Okay, let's see what it is saying right here. State of Tennessee wants property of black community. It says Mason, Tennessee is near the upcoming four-plant Blue Oval City. In my opinion, it's time for Mason to relinquish its charter. Comptroller Jason Mumpower wrote in a letter mailed to each one of Mason's 1,337 property owners. It is said that the state has never asked for a town charter to be relinquished unprecedented. Mason is 60% black and includes descendants of men, women, and children enslaved in the area before emancipation. For more than a century, the town was led by white elected officials. That goes back to the point that I was reading about, that someone that left a comment, that who it was running this first, or who was running this initially before black people came in and fixed it. That changed in 2016 when fraud and mismanagement allegations led to the resignations of nearly all City Hall officials, all of whom were white. Mason's current mayor, vice mayor, and 5 of his 6 aldermen are black. You are in a nice little spot, a sweet spot, and a lot of people want your land. Sweet Love, president of the Tennessee State Conference, NAACP, said, if you need to fight, I will fight with you. Don't sign away your charter, keep your rights. So there it is right there in black and white. They want their charter. They never asked for it before when it was ran by white people, when they was running it into the ground. But the minute black people came in 2016, which is looking like, now they want it. Now, notice Jason Mumpower said he kept mentioning the last 20 years. The last 20 years would be 2002. So that means from 2002 to 2016, that's over a decade of chaos on the financial side from the majority white municipality in that town until black people came in and fixed it. And now they put in this plan here to get those same black people who helped fix this town up out of there. This is gentrification, y'all. This is how it works. This is how it works.
The taxpayers are receiving from being a city, then it's time to evaluate whether they need to continue to be a city.
The timing of it, that you're now starting to pressure them right when Ford shows up, it starts to look a little more than coincidental. So I'm wondering why suddenly are you taking an interest in Mason?
Because if Mason doesn't get their finances in order, the opportunity for development is going to bypass them.
The opportunity for development. So
The opportunity for neighborhoods to develop.
Gentrification. That's what it is. When you keep hearing the words development, that's all they're talking about. It's gentrification.
You know, Mason doesn't have a grocery store or a gas station.
I wonder why. Now, it's crazy. This town Mason's been around for years. When it was ran by white people and they weren't doing nothing with it, why wasn't there a gas station or a grocery store there then? But when black people came in and fixed it, I'm sure they were working towards getting that. But now they're concerned. And this person who's asking the questions is actually asking some really good questions. But of course, he's dancing around the responses like we all knew he would, because he's not giving a straight out response. And he's basically telling on himself, if you really think about it. He's just not being overt with it. He's being very covert, but you can read between the lines.
And the citizens suffer from not having the ability to have those things in their communities. If they don't get their finances in order, just as we have done with other communities across the state, the comptroller will have to run their finances for a while.
What other communities does that happen to?
Okay, look at this. It says comptroller, former city recorder, stole nearly $100,000 from Jellicoe, which is the place he just mentioned, and it was submitted, excuse me, on Thursday, June 5th, 2014. You're talking 8 years ago. And he used that as an example. He's in the position of this particular town that she was. And look, she doesn't look black to me. All the people that he's talking about or using references as to why this town was in bad shape look more like himself and this woman right here. And look, it says she stole nearly $100,000 from the town, which is the same thing those individuals, those PC individuals, was doing in Mason before the black politicians stepped in and fixed it. You don't hear them saying anything about them stealing anything.
Jellicoe, Van Buren County, to name a couple. We make a decision about their expenditures.
They're feeling bullied, just so you know. I talked to them. So
I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
He don't understand. That's you know, they always like to give that I understand thing, and then I bet you a butt is coming.
There's a lot of tough decisions that need to be made, but when...
What did I say? I know when the butt is coming, and what do we say about butts over here? After the butt, there's usually bullshit to follow. But BS came in and it's still ongoing before and after the butt.
And you can't articulate a single benefit that taxpayers are receiving for the highest municipal taxes paid in Tipton County, you've got to look inward.
Listen, we know what the deal is. We know what the deal is. They just want to come in and take away from the black citizens and black residents who were there, who came in and cleaned up their mess, because they don't want black people to run their own municipalities. You know how we always say that we need to have our own this and own that and own this. We need to separate. This is what gets in the way of that. I bet you it's so many black people that want to do their own thing separate from people like himself. But they put people like that woman that you just saw stealing money because they think that if you're white, you know everything about finances. But clearly in his last 20 years that he keeps bringing up, they were the ones that was destroying the town financially. But they don't tell you about that, because a lot of them don't even care about their own community. You know how they like to say black people, they tearing up their communities, you know, whenever a protesting happens, and, you know, they say riots and black people don't care about their communities. They don't care about their communities, clearly, if they're stealing all of this money. $100,000 is a lot of money from a small town. That's a lot of money. You literally stole from your own residents for your own benefit, and then want to sit back and claim that the residents there who happen to be black, they don't know what they're doing. And notice that they get all the time in the world to screw up, but they give black people the limited amount of time to fix things or make things right. Like, it's almost like black people on a timetable. Like, you got this amount of time and this amount of time. No, it's not even that. It's the fact that black people came in and in record time undid what they did over the span of 2 decades in way less time. That reminds me of that story I did about that black store owner in that mall, I think down in North Carolina, who ran that store. And he had made over $1 million in revenue in the year during a pandemic. And then all of a sudden he gets hit with a pink slip that they want him out of there because of some crap that they came up with. I forgot what it was. Whenever they see black people are succeeding where they usually succeed at, then in comes the sabotage. This is what they're doing. This is nothing but sabotaging right here. This is all that is. I was going to read the article, but I didn't realize I was going to stop and go with this video. And besides, I feel like I don't even have to read the article at this point because I got everything that I needed in this one video. This guy is trash. To the residents of Tennessee, in that state of Tennessee, your comptroller, Jason Mumpower, is grade A garbage. But I'm sure many of you down there already knew that. And I don't know what y'all got to do to get him up out of there, but y'all need to do it soon. Because he's pretty much already told you what he's all about. He clearly doesn't like black people. That's with a given fact. Like, the person asking him questions, like, they saying, why now? Like, why are you choosing now? And he did not give a really good direct answer, as we already knew he would. They said, you had plenty of time that you could have did this way before, but why now? The answer is because, not the answer he gave, but the answer is because black people, they feel, are taking over. So we need to move them out before they get a chance to do so. Like I said, this is a throwback Jim Crow tactic. We are in 2.5. We almost at 3.0. We're past 3. We are past 2.0. And people, one thing I don't want to see. I know I won't see it in my comment section, but I don't want to see when people say, I can't believe that this is happening in 2022. It feels like we're back in the day. Well, technically, we really didn't go that far. We've been taking baby steps. We really didn't make any sprints. If you want to make, that connection, we've been taking baby steps, kind of, and really tiny ones at that. Because the fact that this is still going on in 2022, how far have we really moved? How far has the needle really gone in another direction? We are stuck in neutral. If this was a car, that's where we are. We are stuck in neutral. We haven't gone back, but we really haven't gone forward either. Some strides here and there, but nothing major or impactful. And it's people like him that's really holding it up. And the crazy part about it is, you see one Jason Mumpower on your screen, but there are several other Jason Mumpowers walking around here in America. I guarantee you. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you are new. Make sure you hit that bell to be notified when I upload a new video and go live. So I had to come back in here and add this piece in because this was added in after the initial video. So what I'm about to read to you is posted on March 18, 2022. And I'm adding this in on March 19, 2022. And I think I recorded the initial video maybe 2 days before the 18th. So it's reading. The state of Tennessee has taken control of the finances of Mason, a mostly black town of about 1,500 people due to claims of poor financial management. Now, keep in mind of everything that I showed y'all in the video in which this piece of shit was talking. On Thursday, Tennessee Comptroller Jason Mumpower announced the official financial takeover of Mason after Mason's board of mayor and aldermen voted not to surrender the town's 153-year-old charter, Action 5 News reported. The city has a long history of financial issues, including a past indictment for theft of town funds, which, by the way, were made all by PC people such as himself. Mumpower's move came after he offered Mason an ultimatum to relinquish control of the charter to the state or risk financial takeover. Keep in mind, like I said before, They were not worried about this years ago, but when Ford stepped in, and they're going to mention this in this article, when Ford stepped in and said that they're going to put something there that would benefit them, that's when they decided to do the takeover, the hostile takeover. However, ceding over control of Mason to Tennessee government officials would place the mostly black, heavily Democratic town under the control of the state's primarily white and Republican-led Tipton County, as noted by the Tennessee Lookout. I'm sad for the taxpayers of Mason, Mumpower said. We will be working hard to step in and get their finances in shape. Yeah, right. You mean get your pockets in shape? The comptroller said Mason has suffered from issues related to poor money management for the last 20 years. Mumpower cited the recent closing of a prison that made the town's population drop to just 794 people. However, Mason officials cite the town's convenient location 4.5 miles from the newly planned Blue Oval City, the Ford electric truck and battery plant that's been deemed one of the largest manufacturing investments in the state's history. But Mumpower claims Mason is in need of a quote-unquote sound government. By closely supervising town's finances, we will put Mason on a path toward fiscal responsibility. As part of the managing the town's finances, Mason will have to pay back $597,000 the town reportedly owes for its water and sewer fund. The state will have veto power over every expense of $100 or more Mason makes. Van Turner, president of the Memphis NAACP branch and a member of the Tennessee Conference of the NAACP Legal Redress Committee, cited the lack of benchmarks provided by the state to return power back to local elected officials. Without benchmarks, Turner says the town has grounds for a lawsuit. We need a timeline of how long this is going to take and what specific metrics they are using before they transfer power back to Mason, he said. The state has said the takeover will last for as long as it takes to get Mason back in stable financial standing. Jason Mumpower he's trash. Like I stated before, this man is grade A through Z levels of garbage. Like, that is so messed up, and it goes right back to what I was saying. This is why black people are stuck in neutral. Like, they literally was sitting on a gold mine and he knew it. He let this thing fester up for so long, and the minute that black people came in and started to shape things up and they saw a financial opportunity that he could benefit from, because if he didn't make this move, he wouldn't have benefited from it. Or if he did, he would have benefited very, very little from it. But he wants it all. Like I told you, or like we have been telling you, people like Jason Mumpower are not far removed from their colonizing ancestors. And this stunt he pulled and his constituents is proof, and all the proof that we need, that they are definitely their ancestors.